Morning. Morning, everyone. All right, I am. Let me share my screen. Let's wait for a couple more minutes. Good morning, everyone. I am about to start our monthly webinar. It's around data-driven marketing. So let's wait for a couple more minutes to see if anyone can join us. Can everyone see my screen? All right. So thanks, everyone, for joining our monthly webinar here. The topic today is we're going to talk about data-driven marketing. And we're going to see how this can be implemented for small businesses. I'm going to take a lot of examples around restaurants and how we are doing this at mKonnekt and the expected results. And feel free to stop me at any point of time if you have questions. And again, I'm trying to gauge a way in which I can see if it's a chat window, or I'm not sure if you guys can talk back to me and I can hear you guys in terms of saying, or if you have any questions with regards to anything that I'm actually presenting here with regards to data-driven marketing. All right. So with that said, good morning, everyone. My name is Seishu Manabushi. I'm the founder and CEO of mKonnekt. We are actually a Dallas-based marketing company with a focus on restaurants. Right, we primarily work with small mom-and-pop stores and as well as local chains here. Right. So these are the agenda for today. Is basically we'll talk a little bit about mKonnekt, as I was saying, where we are based out of, and talk about what is data-driven marketing, right? And then how can one implement data-driven marketing with regards to basic fundamentals in terms of what kind of data and all those kind of things, and how does data-driven marketing help small businesses. Again, the emphasis here is on small businesses, as in you don't need to have a very big infrastructure or a very big team to kind of go after trying to implement data-driven marketing, and also what are the key takeaways that one can kind of implement or take away from this particular webinar and implement at his or her own business, right? So these are the few topics that I'm going to cover in the next hour. And again, feel free to stop me at any point of time if you have questions. Again, I am trying to see what is the best way of me trying to get questions from your side. So trying to see if there's any. Yeah, actually, there's a chat window here, guys. So if any questions here, please feel free to type here, right? And I will try to see if I can actually answer them at this point of time, right? So a little bit, a brief background about mKonnekt, right? So we were founded in 2015 with emphasis on data-driven marketing. Again, when I say data-driven marketing, we started as a marketing agency, and slowly we have developed few tools with customer as the focus in terms of trying to get customer data. We have these are few of our clients with whom we work with, and the tools that we have developed, again, is the focus is trying to see how we can get customer data at each and every touch point of the customer when they interact with the business, in terms of either engaging with the business, or making a purchase, or becoming a loyal customer, or in some cases referring a customer to their friends and family. So at each stage of this, what we call as a customer touch point, there is an opportunity for small businesses, again, and restaurants, again, emphasis is on restaurants here, to get customer data, and how that data we actually at mKonnekt use to make sure that we are trying to reach out to the right target audience, right? So that's, we have, as I said, like, we have few chains and also mom and pop stores that we work with, and we have been implementing this approach of trying to get customer data and what we call as data-driven marketing in terms of over the past couple of years, right? Having said that, now, in a very at a very high level, if someone asks me what is data driven marketing, obviously the definition itself is there. The key is basically data here, right? In the sense that what, in today's world where everyone actually has a cell phone, and everyone is actually wearing some kind of a device, or like some, there are IoTs all across, and you're getting data all across, right? In the sense, how can businesses use this data? First of all, you need to identify what kind of data you can get, right? That is basically gathering data. Once you identify this one, you as a business, you should be able to kind of analyze this data and say, okay, for example, let's take you run a Facebook campaign, right? And you wanted to see what kind of interactions you get. You want to offer like buy one get one free, right? And you want to see what kind of data you get from that, in the sense, how many people are clicking the ad, how many people are viewing the ad, and how many people are actually coming onto your website, or basically are they coming to your store, kind of a thing. As in, like, you need to have certain data parameters that you would like to collect, and then based on this one, would you be able to say that, okay, if I'm doing another buy one get one free sometime in the next week or the next couple of weeks, would I be able to get the same kind of results which I got as of today, which I ran this campaign? So that at a very high level, you can say that itself is a data driven, right? You know what data to collect and what inferences you can make from that particular data, in the sense that, okay, this buy one get one offer is running good, so if I run this again, will it impact my business in future, in the sense that, will I be able to make X number of dollars, or will I be able to get 10 new customers, or will I be able to get 2 repeat customers? Those kind of sets of data you should be able to, you as a business owner or a marketing professional should be able to infer that data. So that's at a very high level. That is data-driven marketing, right? So again, the key is here is understanding what data you would like to collect and why you would like to collect, right? In the sense that, again, you can get reams and reams of data in here. Identifying very strategic objectives of the data that you would like to collect is very critical here, right? Again, once you identify, again, these are the 3 fundamentals which we actually follow here at mKonnekt. As I was saying, right, first of all, you need to understand what kind of data you want to collect. Once you know that these are the key statistics, are, for example, let's take customer itself, right? You would like to know an age range, where do they live, right? Whether they are male or female, what kind of preferences they might actually have. and other kind of data, right? Once you identify that kind of data as to saying that maybe 10 sets of data that you would like to collect, then follow up with how do you want to store this data, right? The reason is where to store this data is very critical for a couple of reasons. One is, again, giving an example of the Facebook campaign, right? If you have run a campaign with a video, right, and if you run a campaign with a GIF image, and if you run a campaign with a static image, and if you run a campaign with just a text, right, you should be able to store this data, which is basically your video data, your GIF image, your static image, as well as your text data, and try to analyze in terms of what are the results that you obtain against these sets of data. In the sense that against video, I got these kind of results. Against a GIF, I got these results, and against this a static image, I got these results. So your ability to store different kinds of data, that is one. Second thing is, once you store this data, one should be able to retrieve this data very easily. It's not for the heck of storing data out there, in the sense that your team, wherever they are, they should be able to log on to a central server, or it could be somewhere that you can actually get to this data. And then the third basic question would basically is, how are you going to act on that data? So, or how are you going to act on that analysis of the data? That is more important, right? In the sense that collecting data and storing it, but if you're not using the data, then there's no point of collecting or storing the data, right? So that these are the three fundamental pillars, or what we call as the fundamentals of data-driven marketing. Once you identify the kind of data that you would like to store, right, and then identifying where to store, and then identifying how you would basically act on it, one, right? In the sense, these are all like you can say more strategic in nature, and you need to have a very business oriented focus on the kind of decisions you make. In the sense, again, let's go back to the data itself, right? Why do you want to store customer preferences, right? Will it give any insights in terms of identifying if a customer likes a burrito in during a hot summer, vis-a-vis if it is raining, they might like chips and salsa, right? So having said that, so you should also be able to gather what is the temperature outside, so that you would know that, okay, if it's going to rain, I need to stock up my chips and salsa more, because again, I'm just giving some vague examples here, but it does impact your sales based on your weather, and there are n number of parameters that you can define, right? So again, so once you identify these three sets, the next question is like in terms of how can you go about implementing them, right? So here, like we're talking about the data. First set is like what kind of data you want to select, right? Here we are talking about when you identify the data, the data comes from multiple sets, in the sense that multiple sources, in the sense that you can get it from your point of sale system, you can get it from your social media channels, right? You can actually get it from your own customers, or I mean to say customers giving you feedback on when they're talking to you, or when they're filling in out surveys, right? So or that kind of a, so that's in the sense you need to identify from where you would try to get that data. And again, we talked about the objectives, right? When any decision that you make, it has to make sense, in the sense that it has to come from a point that I'm collecting a set of customer data. Why am I collecting that data, right? So that you would know that once you collect that data, you can act on that one based on your business objectives. Again, going back to this, I would like to know the customer preferences based on the weather conditions, right? So you should basically able to get this data from your point of sale system, and your objective being that based on my weather, how should I stock up or stock down on certain items that I would like to sell, right? And then you need to actually have the data framework, in the sense that each and every set of data is correlated, and kind of, as I was telling earlier, right? If you have a video set, a set of video data, and then you have the clicks, and you would actually have shares, or you might actually have the views, then these two are related, and you are basically correlating this set of data against another set of advertising data, like in the sense a static image. So you should be able to correlate this one, saying that if my videos are like a minute long, my engagement rate decreases by X%. If my videos are 10 seconds long, my engagement is increasing by X percentage, right? And then obviously we need to make sure that it is available, in the sense that everyone nowadays talks about on cloud and all those kind of things, and you have n number of sources out there that you can actually store the data, in terms of Box or Google, or obviously it has to be stored in such a way that it is structured, you and able to retrieve it, and able to kind of, when we go and put on it on a Box or a Google Drive, you should be able to correlate, saying that, okay, this set of data correlates, as in when I say correlation, in the sense I should be able to find out when I'm running an ad campaign, these are the results that I got because of running this particular video campaign. So that means I should be able to correlate these two metrics, or these two set of data, saying that, okay, I am like my metrics have changed, in the sense that if I run a video campaign, my results would be this. If I run another campaign with a buy one get one offer, this is the result, kind of a thing. So your organizing of data is also very critical, in the sense that ability to do these correlations between, it might seem very um, uh, disparate set of data, but making sure that these sets of data, when trying to analyze them, they make sense, right? So that organization of data is also very critical, in the sense that making sure that you collect the right data, and making them available in terms of storing wise, and then organizing that data so that you can make sense out of the data is very critical, right? Now everyone keeps talking about big data and all these things, right? To us, when we say big data, again, this is going back to this question of collecting what kind of data, right? We say this big data is nothing but, at a very high level, data which has these three set of characteristics in terms of the volume wise, right? Right now, again, you just put something on Facebook or on Twitter, or if you're running a buy one get one free or some kind of a campaign, within minutes and seconds, days, or hours, you actually are going to get you're gonna get like tons of data, right? In the sense, the volumes of data you would get is huge, right? So that means that is one of the first characteristics of big data, is you would get a lot of volume of data from different sources. Like when someone is swiping a credit card, you would get their first name, last name, their zip code, and depending upon the kind of point of sale system use, some other details as well, right? For example, we are working with Square. So right now, when we swipe a card, we would know when all he has actually placed an order, what all he has, as in like the customer placed an order, when he placed, and what are the different kinds of, as in like timings he has placed order, whether he has tipped or not, right? And what is the percentage of the tip, and all those kind of things, so that at a very high level we would know that just with a swipe of the card we can actually get so many, as like that kind of data set, right? And then the velocity is basically the speed at which we are getting. Just imagine this: if you are a restaurant and you're running a 10 to 11 or 10 to 10 kind of an operation, with that 10 to 10 kind of an operation, you are getting data right from the time when you run a campaign on Facebook. Someone is reviewing your business on Yelp or TripAdvisor, and someone is actually placing an order online, and someone is placing an order at the store, and someone is giving you a feedback, right? And someone is referring your business. So in a sense, if you just think of it, step back and look at it, you are getting all this data from different sources at a speed, or the velocity in this case is, and also the variety, which, right? So you are getting different sets of data. One is like a referral data. You're actually getting feedback in terms of whether the customer likes what kind of food, or the service is bad, or the service is good, or against a specific person. In this case, they might be saying that Bob at this location is awesome, he made sure that we were taken care of, right? Or they can basically be talking about saying that, hey, we went to this restaurant and the bathroom is not working. As in, like, you might be thinking about that, but still, with this kind of data where you are getting a variety of data, you should be able to execute on this one. Like, for example, we were talking about the bathroom not working, right? And that means you can go back into your operations side and see who's the person responsible for that at that point of time, and why was this bath. Again, obviously you need to take with a pinch of salt whether the customer is saying the right thing or not, and if it is true, then why was that person who was in charge of cleaning the bathroom or fixing that is not, has he or she not done their job, right? So that is very critical, because now you can look at this data and then go back and see, okay, if you're getting like some kind of online, like ordering data, if you are seeing that on a particular day, one set of, like, again, now it is football season, so that you should be able to stock up more on pizza, beers, or wings, kind of a thing. And then you can know that, okay, if your team is playing and if the margin of difference is high or low, then you might be able to say that you'll be selling more wings or something like that. Again, you as a business would be able to get this kind of insights. Till now it is all about gut feeling, right? In the sense that, oh, Cowboys, they're playing, that means I should be able to sell more. But if you have additional sets of data, in the sense that, okay, Cowboys are playing against New York Giants and the difference is like 7 points and last quarter to go, then that means there is a higher probability of we might be winning or something like that. And Cowboy fans would like to cheer, or they might be interested in, or they are like more likely to basically place more orders of the pizza. Again, if you have the data to kind of predict this kind of analysis, again, that goes back to this kind of where you are getting different kinds of data from different sources and using that data to predict what would be the outcome of sales of wings for your particular place, right? We just talked about like the sources, right? At mKonnekt, we follow what we call as an A to A model, right? This is where we say that a customer goes through this funnel. It's a customer engagement lifecycle, or a customer funnel, where they go through awareness of a brand, and then they start engaging with the brand. Once they like what they see, they might get into the action part, which is basically buying. And then if the experience is good, they'll become a loyal customer, and then they start advocating the business with their friends and family. At each of these touch points, it's basically a source for you as a business to get customer data. Now, what kind of customer data would you get at each stage? It differs based on, like, kind of like, for example, at this, what we call as awareness and engagement, it is all about making sure that the customer is aware of this brand and they're engaging with this. Let's take the wings example, right? If you're launching, or if you're a wings shop, you want to make sure that you have the best wings out there. You have boneless and bone wings, right, with different flavors and with different dips and all those kind of things. So your engagement and awareness campaign should be around showcasing the food and once you, let's assume, go with a particular, like say a video or something, and you see some kind of insights on that one, that is the kind of data you would get back here, in the sense that, like, what kind of campaigns run the best for you. If you're running an SMS campaign, or if you're running an email campaign, are they effective, in the sense, are you actually seeing some kind of action based on that particular campaign you run, right? Again, we talked about videos and all those kind of things, right? So at these two stages, awareness and engagement, you get a lot of online marketing data for you to better come up with marketing campaigns, right? And then the second one is basically your the transactional data, which comes at this action stage. This is where someone may basically places an order. So at this one, you would be able to find out if a particular customer likes wings, or if a particular customer is a vegetarian, or anything like that. That's when you'll actually get more transactional data, right? And then at the loyalty phase, you would get more in terms of, like, hey, is the customer coming back? How often are they coming back? If they're coming back, how much are they spending? And that kind of data, right? Again, at this advocacy stage, are they not just coming back on a regular basis, but they're also talking about your brand to their friends and family, right? That is, again, at each stage, your sources of data is different, and the kind of data you get is also different. And based on that, you can kind of analyze, saying that, hey, are my customers, who are my loyal customers, are they brand advocates? If not, why not, right? Can you incentivize them to talk about your brand, in the sense that, can you give them like a $10 off if they refer a friend of theirs who can also get a $10 off, right? It's basically a referral marketing kind of a thing, right? So that's again, those are the kind of sources of data which you as a customer, or you as a business, have to look at when you are trying to get customer data, right? Again, the sources can be your point of sale system, your social media channels. It could be your offline, when it could be as simple as your employees talking to the customers and trying to get feedback and all those kind of things. Moving further, I am assuming, actually, no question. Again, I'm looking at this at the chat here. I'm not. So any questions? Feel free to start chat here, guys. All right. And I would be more than happy to kind of answer them. Or if I think it's going to be covered in the few slides, I'm going to tell that. Right. We talked about, like, so far, in the sense, what kind of data and where you would get this data from a transactions and from your media campaigns and all those things, right? Now the second question is, you are getting lots of data. Now here, how are you going to store this data, right? And this is more of a technical question, in the sense, like, there are a few considerations in terms of making sure that the primary purpose of you storing the data is availability and your ability to act on it, right? So that means availability, in the sense that, let's assume you're storing the data. If you have two locations, and you might actually have a marketing agency who is working with you, and they might be sitting at the third location. So these set of people should be able to get to that data, and also on a real-time basis, right? In the sense that, hey, if someone swipes a card, and all of a sudden you see some kind of saying that he's a loyal customer, he has spent like close to $1,000 this month, then that means immediately something has to happen at that point of time, saying that, hey, this person has spent $1,000 on your business. He placed 5 orders consistently for $200 or so. Why not give him like a $50 gift certificate next time for his visit? Right. So as in, that's the kind of insights you should be able to get, and that you can actually get it if real-time basis, in the sense that, hey, can you store the data and act on it on a real-time basis, right? And the scalability also matters, right? In the sense that, hey, today you might be getting like 10 pieces of information or 10 pieces of data, but tomorrow when you're trying to implement more, all of a sudden it can go to 1,000 sets of data immediately, right? And also how long you want to store this data, in the sense that, like, hey, if it is like, again, I've given the example of Cowboys games, right? And this is right, and you might want to see what are the patterns around if the NFL games being played and NFL. So that means you should be able to store that data for a long time, right? And then in terms of the cost wise, right? Right now, storing data and all those kind of things, it's cheaper, but the cost can kind of rise very, very quickly based on the different parameters. As in, again, we just talked about like the velocity and the variety and all those kind of things. Because of this, the cost can exponentially increase very, very quickly. So you need to kind of do a cost benefit analysis, in the sense, hey, I'm storing all this much data. Is it impacting my business because of the way I'm once I started this data driven marketing, right? So you need to take that into consideration. And also I just mentioned the NoSQL database. Like, this has been, again, as I was saying, right, you are getting different kinds of data, which is not just text, right? You might be getting a video data, you might be getting some kind of Excel documents, a PDF documents, or it could be a pictures, GIF images, and all those kind of things. So you should be able to store all this different sets of data and be able to retrieve the data as well. So that's where it's a little bit of a technical considerations, in the sense that what kind of database you want to store and all those kind of things, right? Once you have identified this is the second step, right? In the sense, what data to store, where to store. The key question comes here is, how can we use this data to make sure that it impacts your business, right? And again, these are the ways in which actually it would impact your business, which we're going to go over in the next few slides. Again, the emphasis again is to see, if you are collecting data, will it impact your business? And we're going to see how it will actually impact the business, right? So the very first thing is like the results, right? Here we are talking about, um, again, there has been numerous studies with the advent of cell phones or the smartphones. The attention span of a customer is less than, I think, is around like 8 seconds or something like that. So that means people want results fast, and they want to know it like now, kind of a thing, right? And how can data driven marketing actually help you here? So I'll give an example. This was, I think, took place maybe 3 years back or 4 years. I'm not sure. Again, I'm taking the example of Target, obviously a very large organization, but you can apply the same thing even at a small business as well, right? Target was able to identify that a particular person was pregnant, and they sent out coupons to that particular household for coupons for diapers and baby powder and all those kind of things, even before the family members knew that the girl was pregnant, right? Obviously, the results are too fast here, but the bottom line is that, like, with data driven marketing, you would be able to personalize, and you would be able to send a coupon. Again, let's take an example of a restaurant here. Let's assume someone came to your store, right? And they basically liked it, or they basically reviewed it, and somehow you would know. Again, when I say somehow you would know, you need to make sure that the right data is collected, right? Like, someone reviews your business on Yelp, and you are able to correlate the Yelp handle with that particular person, and based on that particular person's preference, because you already know what this customer has purchased and why he said that he liked the food. So there is a good possibility of that particular person coming back. So you can actually send that person a coupon saying that, hey, thank you very much for your review and all those kind of things, and here is your coupon, and we know that you like this falafel sandwich, and here is a free Mexican Coke when you buy a falafel sandwich next time. By the way, this offer expires within the next 7 days, right? So the customer, when they see the review, they said they got a response immediately, not just through the primary channel on Yelp saying that thank you very much for your review, but also an SMS with the very next day, which kind of showcases these people know what I like, and there's a good probability of this particular person walking into the door just because you have sent a very specific coupon based on the review, and you know that this person has come back and he visited your restaurant 2 days back and he reviewed 1 day back, kind of a thing, right? So that's the first benefit again. And this does not need a whole lot of, again, obviously you should know what to look for and where to look for, so that you would know that this particular person likes the falafel sandwich, and sending him the coupon, it can be automated. Again, that's what our coupon module at mKonnekt, that's what we do, as in, like, we try to see what is the purchase pattern here, or the purchase history, and based on that we send out the coupons based on that one, right? That is the personalization here. And then the next set of advantage when implementing the um, data-driven marketing is basically the products, right? Let's take one of our clients. They were actually introducing Froyo, right? And they wanted to find out, hey, is Froyo like the right product to be introduced, right? Would they like it? And what would be the response they would actually get it, right? So what they have done is they have taken one location and they went about like giving out samples, but at the same time they also went around and asking questions in terms of, hey, what do you like about it, what do you not like about it, what would be the price point, right? And they also have done some kind of a promo offers around saying that if you buy like obviously they knew what kind of items were the most popular items, so they tagged along this particular new item which they want to introduce with that Froyo items, right? And they've given free with when you purchase the popular items, and they have seen that a lot of people started ordering the Froyo by itself, in the sense that they were not it's the sales of Froyo took off just by itself. They were not tagging along with the most popular item. But the very first instance, the way they went ahead was they knew which popular item, and they tagged along that the new item, so that they can see people. Obviously, they are ordering the most popular item. They're also tasting this Froyo, and then after a couple of weeks or something like that, they started seeing the Froyo going by itself, right? And it did become one of their popular items, right? So end of the day, you would know that, hey, this, again, I'm talking a specific example where they have introduced a product and where they've actually improved, in the sense, the sales and all those kind of things, and improved the product itself. They've added one more item to their best-selling items, so thereby they actually impacted their top line growth, right? And that they could do based on, because they had very specific data sets in terms of, okay, this is the time where my most items like would get sold, so let me run a campaign around that those items, and let me tag along this free yogurt Froyo, so that they can get the feedback on the product and all those kind of things, right? Moving further, again, we all know that in today's world, a customer can reach out to the business in multiple channels, right? So that means they can actually reach out to you through Facebook, or through social media, or through offline methods, or some or the other way, right? And you as a as a business, if you know that based on your customers, like for example, let's take I'm taking the case of Denny's. We used to work with Denny's, and their primary business at that point of this was like a Dallas-based franchisee, and most of their customers were um, age groups, in the sense of they were like mostly targeted like around 50 plus kind of a people who used to come there for breakfast, like just relax and have fun and all those things. That was one set of customers they were actually having. And the second set of customers were also um, travelers. They were actually the local hotels and all those kind of things, because Denny's is open 24 by 7, and people wanted to come by and eat after a travel or after driving, that kind of a thing, right? So that means based on this one, you're based on the customer traffic, they were able to segment that, okay, as a marketing, from a marketing standpoint of view, I have to reach, we have done this campaign. So we reached out to all the hotels in the neighborhood area, right? And we have given them some kind of discounts and coupons and all those kind of things, right? And then wherein we have actually emphasized that, hey, if you come after like 11 p.m. or something like that, you would get like 25% off and all those things, right? And based on this one, we were able to see the store sales were increased from these, as in like we were able to keep track of like how many coupons are coming in, and how many were being redeemed and all those kind of things. Again, this was more of a wherein we used to call the managers and try to find out how many coupons are you getting and all those kind of things, right? And the second thing which we have also done is like we've also reached out to, as in like using Facebook. Obviously still, if you look at it, Facebook, the kind of demographics you have vis-a-vis Instagram is completely different, right? So Facebook, we were able to run some campaigns in the morning specifically saying that, hey, we would like to have some kind of an offer like a free coffee when you buy something, and those kind of campaigns which we have run. And we knew that like focusing on these channels would help us attain, or be able to attract more customers, thereby increasing the top line, the revenue itself here, right? So we were able to do that because we knew what kind of customers Denny's, this particular location actually has. And I'm assuming, as a matter of fact, Denny's as a brand has the same kind of an issue at this point of time, based on our interactions with the general manager and the franchisee here, right? So you would know as to which channel you want to optimize based on your demographics. Again, you would actually get that data once you know that, okay, these are the kind of demographics that I actually have to go after, right? Moving on, we in the early on, I was just talking about like, hey, what kind of data would actually, or what kind of campaigns would impact your customer engagement, right? We were talking about the A to A model. We were able to maximize, like for example, we have done a case study recently wherein we have seen that the user generated content, right, is like when it involves around pets or around schools, right? These are emotional subjects or emotional topics. We were able to see that the kind of response which we are getting from a customer engagement is huge, in the sense that we were able to, like for example, have done a pet photo contest, and the kind of response which we have got, again, all these things, the campaign which we have done is organic in nature, wherein we have invited customers to submit their pet pictures, and the engagement which we have got is was very good. And similarly, when we have done something on Instagram with regards to going after like some kind of a campaign using influencer marketing and doing some kind of a stories and all those kind of things, again, we have seen that the customer engagement has increased, right? So knowing that what kind of campaigns or what kind of offers, right, works best, you as a marketing professional or you as a business would be able to run those campaigns or execute those campaigns. And obviously, you need to modify those campaigns based on the results, right? It's always a learning curve wherein we are saying, hey, if I'm running a buy one get one offer, and on a weekday, I would get this kind of an offer, this kind of an engagement, or this kind of a response. Vis-a-vis, if I run 25% off on a weekday as well, this is the kind of response I would get. So based on that, you would be able to change your strategy to get the max customer engagement for you, so that you can get people into the door, right? And moving on. So again, we talked about the user experience, right? From a restaurant's perspective, it is our firm belief that customers walk, they go to restaurants for an experience itself, right? In the sense that they are looking for good food, they're looking for excellent customer service, right? And then they're also looking at an like an ambience where they can relax and have basically some great food and enjoy their time with friends and families and those kind of things, right? So that is basically the user experience. So if you're able to get to these three things, right? Like, for example, let's take there was a classic example of a restaurant I was actually reading about. It is very simple in the sense that they would, based on the kind of customer, whether it's a loyal customer or if they were able to find, if it's a repeat customer, they change the color of the napkins they provide, right? In the sense that, like, let's assume a green is basically for a loyal customer, and a white is basically for a customer who's coming for the first time or the second time, kind of a thing. Now, based on this one, if it's a customer with a green napkin, and additional people were making sure that that particular customer is taken care of, in terms of providing them maybe something, a dessert on the house, or giving a free drink, or making sure that, hey, here is the soup that you like, kind of a thing, right? As in, like, that's the kind of experience. Again, it's a very simple thing they have done. It is just they differentiated a customer based on their analysis, saying that customer X is a loyal customer, and he basically was able to get more business into the this one, right? And that basically makes a whole lot of difference. Again, if you take an example of, like, let's take someone who's placing an order online for pickup or for delivery, and if you know that this customer has placed so many orders, if you just, without even them asking for it, if you just put like a small cheesecake and just write a thank you note saying that thank you for your business, that would do a tremendous difference in terms of that particular customer. He would love it, and they would start talking about it, and you can see that particular going to talk about this experience with their friends and family and everyone else, right? And also, again, we are talking, you should be able to get to that data, as in, like, you should be able to see that, collecting the data right from, and analyzing the data right from the awareness stage itself, right? We talked about the A to A model, and you can only get to that point wherein you can differentiate between a customer who is loyal and who has been placing n number of orders over the past few weeks or something like that, if you have the right set of tools and the right set of tools for data to look at and analyze them, right? um, and again, that is what, when we implement our loyalty program, we always look at customers and trying to find out how frequently they are coming back, what is their frequency, what is their per visit transaction, all these kind of things that would actually help us understand more about the customer, and which in turn helps us to kind of guide our clients, saying that, hey, this is what the customer, or this is the kind of a customer who has better, he has, like, he or she needs to be treated better because of these kind of reasons, right? And then we also talked again, this is everything is interrelated here. When we say that we're talking about, hey, um, is the customer like a new customer? Is it a loyal customer, right? Have they come through, like, for example, as a business, you always want to make sure that the customer spends their dollars at your business as many times as possible, right? But at the same time, you also have to think of this one, right? In the sense, you need to know what is the frequency at which the customer is going out. Like, again, if you take a restaurant, right, they might be going once a week or twice a week, right? So within that, maybe your cycle should be every 2 months that particular customer should basically come back, right? If the customer is not coming back, then there is an issue. As to, you need to make sure that why are they not coming back, and you should be able to reach out to that customer and try to somehow get him back into the door, right? Again, this is like feasible once you identify that you need to find out this data set called last date of purchase, right? And then the second set of data which you need is what he has purchased. And then the third set of data is what kind of incentive do you need to give him for that particular customer to come back, right? So if you have these, as in like kind of analysis or kind of insights into what data to collect, and you would be able to take a decision at this time saying that, okay, uh, person X or Y or Z is a repeat customer, so let me treat him well. Customer Y, he hasn't visited in the past 2 weeks. Maybe he needs a little push of him coming back. So give him a 10% off for his next visit. And customer Z, he hasn't visited for the past 3 months. So there is some issue there, in the sense that he was either not happy or he moved, or basically that's the end of his customer life cycle, in the sense that a customer might be coming to your place not very often. So they, again, I do not have statistics, but I think typically a customer stays with a business for maybe like 2 to 3 years. After that, they kind of move on and find new businesses to kind of right. And you as a business owner, your objective is to make sure that they stay with you for a longer time. And the way they can do that is obviously through these kind of decisions that they would feel important. If a customer feels important, and if the customer feels that he's recognized for the dollar values or for the dollars he's spending at the business, they would love it, and obviously they would stay with the business for a longer period of time. So we kind of talked about so far, right? Again, the three key fundamentals of the data-driven marketing: what data to store, or what data to collect, right? And how to collect. Once that is taken care of, we have kind of briefly talked about where to store. Again, this is the second question is more of a technical plus a business in nature, in the sense that the availability of data and databases and all those kind of things, right? And then the key thing, the third thing which we talked about was like, with how can this data be used to make sure that it impacts your business, right? The whole point is like, will it impact your top line growth, or will it impact your costs or right? So that way it would help you grow your business, right, and increase profitability, right? So the whole, with this kind of a data approach, what we are saying is, if you actually have a focus on what data to store, right, where to store, your marketing efforts will actually they amplify, in the sense that, like, rather than trying to do a campaign without any insights, it's all, and spend, maybe you might be spending $100, right? Whereas you can spend the same or maybe spend like $10 or something and get the same kind of a result. Just as an example, right? If you want to focus on a specific place, and who are vegetarians, and who basically you want to target this campaign for a morning breakfast, like let's assume you want to start like a granola bar or something like that, right? So that means you need to target the right set of target audience who are health conscious and all those kind of things, right? So that is where the key takeaway from this webinar is that you need to know what kind of data you want to select, or what kind of data you want to collect, so that you know who your customers are, right? And you know what kind of campaigns you can run to those set of customers, in the sense that can you run like a buy one get one offer, or can you take up some kind of a channel, like is Facebook relevant for you, or is it Instagram or Snapchat, and all those kind of things. And then where, based on this one, you can also identify that, hey, I need to spend my resources on Facebook because most of my customers are actually on Facebook. And also I should be able to make sure that the message is in such a way that it resonates with your target audience. It is some kind of a personalized message wherein it would say that, hey, this particular ad talks to me, so let me click on that one, and then see what the offer is, and it seems that the offer is good, let me go ahead and buy it, right? So that's the intent of all data driven marketing is all about, in the sense you need to make sure what data you want to use or to collect, right? How to collect it, and once you have collected, and you basically made sure that you do some analysis and get some kind of key executable steps against this kind of an analysis which you do, right? So that's the end of the webinar, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know here in the chat window, or else also would like to actually close this one by what we would like to do at this time is, hey, this is what we would like to offer you guys who are on the webinar, in the sense that we would like to do a free DDM analysis, right, for your business. If you feel that this business, as in like your business, makes sense, or can it be implemented, and what kind of what does it take to implement this data-driven marketing, and at a very high level, what will be the impact of the data-driven marketing on your business, right? If you're interested in this offer, please send an email with the details about your business and the contact name and contact phone number and all those things to marketing@mkonnekt.com, and we would be more than we would be happy to kind of sit with you and understand your business, and kind of do a kind of a top level analysis, in the sense that saying that, okay, these are the things that you can do, and this is the kind of data you need to collect, and this is how you can collect, and all those kind of things. And it is absolutely then there are no strings attached to that one. Like, you can go about doing that with as simple as steps as like, hey, you want to implement trying to get customers specials or customer their birthdays by implementing a birthday module, or so, like a simple page or a simple landing page for you to get some kind of data on that one, right? So this is what we would like to offer. Anyone who's interested, please feel free to send an email to us with your contact details at marketing@mkonnekt.com, and then we can go from there. All right, any questions, guys? All right. If not, it's the end of our monthly webinar. This is for the month of September. So every month we do actually want to do one webinar which is around marketing, which from our point of view, we want to make sure that whoever attends this, they can benefit from that. Again, obviously with an emphasis or a focus on executable steps or simple steps that one can actually implement, right? And again, feel free to reach out to us. Again, the email is marketing@mkonnekt.com, or you can visit our website mkonnekt.com to register for this monthly webinar series, right? And also, if you have any other questions regarding anything else, regarding small business marketing or restaurant marketing or anything like that, feel free to reach out to marketing@mkonnekt.com. So try to register for the monthly webinars, and also you can go to our blogs and get latest updates about our blogs as to which we come out on a regular basis, which would definitely be of use to you guys. All right. So having said that, I think there are no more questions here. I would like to stop this webinar, and again would like to thank those who have actually attended this. And you would also get an email with a link that this can be shared, or you can watch this webinar at a later stage. Also, a YouTube link will be sent out shortly. So feel free to share this information with your friends and family, and encourage them to register for next month's webinar as well. Thank you guys, and have a good day.